Okay, welcome back, sir. The floor is yours. You can be able to, we can launch on.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fai Jr. Good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, then let me know, please. Can you hear me? Just drop a comment in the comment section. Thank you very much, Jimano Constance, Ruma Bright, Young Harrison, so on and so. Great. It's such a wonderful opportunity to address you today. I really appreciate Domsa for this unique opportunity through Mr. Fai Jr., the personal friend. I am so grateful to be in your company today. Today we shall be looking at how relevant personal development is to organizational growth or organizational development. And I'm happy the topic is really very timely, and it is very important for young professionals like you and many others to be conscious of the importance of personal branding, of personal development, sorry. So let us kickstart without much ado. And I'll start by defining what personal development is. Personal development is the lifelong process of constantly building your capacities and your competencies based on what goals you have about yourself as an individual, or about your career, your family, any other field in which you belong to. And it is aimed at maximizing your potentials by identifying your weaknesses in order to address them, and also identifying your strengths in order to foster or empower them or strengthen them. So like I said, it's a lifelong process in which you carry out an introspection of yourself first, and then you find out where you need to build your capacity, and then you do so in order to improve on your performance. I think that by now we must have heard of the saying that garbage in, garbage out. So it is very important as young professionals to be conscious about the importance of building your person, your soft skills, and other competencies which can enable you stand out in the marketplace. One of the things you have to recognize is that as employees or potential employees, or even whether it be self-employed or employed by another person, employers often expect professionals or young professionals, emerging professionals, students that are still joining the job world to be equipped and ready for the job market. And so one of the ways in which you can achieve this is by consciously building yourself, intentionally building yourself without waiting to be trained in some school milieu, academic milieu, especially nowadays with the social media and other digital platforms through which you can study online, or you can attend on-site conferences, seminars, workshops, colloquiums, symposiums, and so on and so forth. And one of the easiest ways in which you can do this is by attending sessions like this. You see? And why do employers expect you to be able to fit in? Because the job world is not static. The workplace is not static. There will be times that you need to work under stress. Maybe the home you're coming from, you've not been working under stress. Maybe the school you're coming from, you've not been working under stress. There will be times that you need to multitask. The workload will be much more than what your job description demands. There are times that you may have to handle problems that arise. When you were at home or in school, others maybe served as mediators, but now you may find yourself in a position where it could be you now as a mediator. So it is very, very important to understand yourself, understand your performance, and to adapt in order to meet changes based on increased workload, stress, innovation, and so on and so forth. Now, let us look at why it is very, very important to build your capacities and your competencies. The first thing, like I mentioned earlier, is that garbage in, garbage out. So an enlightened employee, an enlightened worker is an enlightened employee, or an enlightened mind is an enlightened employee. And so because insights turn into action, it is possible that when you build your capacity and make yourself competent enough to handle tasks in your domain, and then your performance at the job site will be relatively better than it was before. So it is always expected that by virtue of the capacity you've built, your output too should reflect that. So that's the first point. Secondly, it improves on your working relationship with others around you, and hence a better workplace. Imagine that you didn't know how to control your anger, or you lacked a skill, what we call emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. You don't know when to get angry. You don't even know when to laugh. You don't even know when to look serious. You don't even know when to, and then later on you went and build your skills on emotional intelligence, getting to know yourself better and others around you so that you can relate with them better. You see now that areas where you would have been conflicting with other people, you will now avoid those areas. You will now know how to motivate and inspire others around you. And you also know how to serve as a mediator in times of problems. You know how to lead people better, and so on and so forth. Especially people who hope to grow in their career. Because if you cannot build your capacity, and you will hardly grow in your career. The third point, the more you build your capacities and competencies, the more you discover new things, which can even permit you to discover your passion. Some of us do things that we are not even passionate about. There's something called career purgatory. We find ourselves in a situation where we do things that we just wish to survive, not to thrive. But by venturing into new avenues, you get to discover new things that can now make you to discover your passions and God-given purpose. So it's very, very important. Can develop clarity of purpose. And a fulfilling life is a purpose-driven life. So we will simply link up this particular point to the happiness that you derive when you build your capacity and eventually discover your purpose and discover that the things that you ought to do, you are able to do them and do them rightly. leads to a sense of fulfillment. Imagine that you were given a task and you were not able to do it because you don't know what to do. It leads to frustration. A task that I had to do for 1 hour, you now have to do it for 2 hours, 3 hours, and your boss is mounting pressure on you to deliver, and you cannot deliver because you do not know what to do. It frustrates you. But once you are able to deliver on time and excellently, and someone compliments you and thanks you for what you've done, you see that it uplifts your spirit. It makes you happy. Excuse me. The fifth point, it leads to creativity and innovation. You see, the more and more you learn, the more and more you discover new things, and you have new perspectives on the way things are done. And that is the bedrock of innovation. Imagine that in this generation, you don't know how to design graphics. Just imagine that. Imagine that in this generation, you don't know how to write minutes. You don't know how to use Zoom and other social media platforms. You don't know how to build a solid brand, a solid personal brand, and so on. And then you find an opportunity to do so, or you intentionally drive yourself towards the direction where you can discover opportunities like that. And then you build your competencies. You see that you get to discover new things. When you start doing graphic design, for instance, you start realizing that, hey, you could be this creative, but you didn't know once you started building your capacity. So that's it. The next point is that it gives you greater confidence. Once you build your capacity and you are able to deliver as expected, and you develop happiness from the process, a sense of fulfillment, it gives you more and more self-confidence. So, and then the next point, it makes you more competitive both on the job and out of the job. And once your performance on the job improves, you see that your business also improves in performance. Because if, for instance, I was unable to close sales as an individual, the moment I go and foster my capacity in closing sales, I can now close more sales for my business. I can now close more sales for where I work. So you see, and that's how it makes you more competitive and exposes you to promotions, recommendations, and so on and so forth. Secondly, and lastly, building your capacity will also make you to develop the positive attitudes and approaches that are associated with a successful professional life. And that will also help you to succeed more on the job site, and it will reflect in the overall results of the job. So that is very, very, very important. Now, let's continue. I just thought it wise that we should look at one or two ways in which we can go about this process of capacity development for advanced organizational advancement or growth. One of the ways in which you could build your capacity is that you make the most of capacity building opportunities provided by the organization where you work, by the institution where you work. Like now, DOMSA has just organized this session to build your capacity on how relevant personal development is to organizational development. You see that those of you who are making the most, who are attending this session, you will learn something new from it. So that's one of the ways in which you can develop your capacity. You can attend seminars, workshops, conferences, and so on and so forth, like I mentioned earlier. It is always good to have a to-be list. The error most people make is that all they have is a to-do list. All they have is a to-do list. But why is a to-be list very important? A to-be list is very important because, first of all, we are human beings. We are not human doings. We cannot spend all of our time being transactional about life. No. We are human beings, first of all. So you need to have a to-be list. It's very, very important. How do you, so identify opportunities for personal development and exploit them. Create an action plan, like I said, a to-be list. Monitor your progress over time, evaluate. This is what I said I would do. Am I really doing it? If I'm doing it, am I doing it well? How best can I do it? How are others doing it? Can I copy from the example and improve? It's no longer about certificate. It's about sabi ticket. Yes, it's no longer about certificate. It is sabi ticket. You need to know. Okay, monitor your progress. Evaluate your personal performance constantly. And learn and grow. That is very, very important. So, thank you very much for your time. That was the little I thought we could share together. It is not always about so much long lengthy talk. The little we've been able to exchange today, if you put it into practice, you'd see that your career path will set to better performance, and your business, your organization will witness such a transformation. Thank you very much. If there's any question, please ask.
Okay. Just thanking you for the enriching presentation. And yeah, maybe if we have questions from participants, you can ask your question. Ms. Parine, Constance, even Mr. Elvis.
All right. Thank you so much, the presenter, Mr. George. You touched some key things that most of these our young people now, it's a little bit difficult for them to see what you were saying. I hope that maybe with time again, you can break it down further if they should bring you up to present. You said things that people neglect. For instance, when I left Cameroon and came to the United Arab Emirates to teach in an international school, it was a complete shift from what we do back home and what I met here. When I was leaving Cameroon, fortunately, I knew how to prepare a PowerPoint because that I was taught in the university. When you get outside here, especially with Corona coming, there is no other thing we can do without knowing how to use Microsoft, Access, Zoom, PowerPoint. These are things that if in this century, you are not able to do them, you're a misfit. I mean, with the rate at which technology is changing, if you don't learn these things, because they don't teach us these things in school. You also mentioned the issue of emotional intelligence. What school gives us is more of IQ, how to make us to be able to understand ideas, and sometimes they don't even teach us how to apply them. But when it comes to emotional intelligence, it is what makes the difference. I am very impressed with this coming from you. I really enjoyed it. These are things I had to pay to be trained. Guys, I'm just re-emphasizing on some of the things he touched because we had to pay money to be taught these things. He's giving you this for free. The topic of emotional intelligence, emotional balance is the key aspect at work. If you don't know how to connect with humans, especially in this our artificial world we are in today, the human connection, the human touch, when to be angry, how to react to situations, how to respond, when to respond, these things will cause you to become a colossal mistake in this our time. So, Mr. George, I'm grateful. You touch a lot of things. I can't go back over them, but I know that very soon they'll probably call you back because there are a lot of things you just said and went as if you were not saying them, but I got them. And I'm so proud that I was part of it. There are key things that are helping me. I've been able to teach in 3 international schools now. It's not because I even went to ENS in Cameroon, but because I'm able to adapt. Personal development is underrated. And to be able to survive now, it is key. It is key. Because what gives income and value is set of skills. If you don't diversify your set of skills, you mentioned graphic designing. Many of them will be laughing at it, thinking that it's just for fun. A lot of my friends now are making money from graphic design. A lot of them. It shows you're an expert in this area, and it should be a blessing for them that you could come and share this knowledge for free. I paid to learn graphic designing. I paid to do that online. I didn't even get to meet my teacher. So these are things that you guys should take serious. The things he has said, please note them down. Take time and go through each point he gave and kind of really work on them. It's going to help you a great lot. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis Mimba. You've really made me so, lighthearted, and in fact, my spirit is uplifted. And it's usually very, very delighting when you get testimonies like that after a presentation like this. So your testimonies are so founded, and it is good that you are giving them already, like someone who has had the experience even of traveling out of this country and witnessing the work culture outside them. Because here in Cameroon, we are sleepwalking into the future. I used to tell people that if you're in Cameroon or even across Africa and you've not traveled to any part in the world, it's not a weakness, because nowadays you can travel even through the social media. I, for one, I'm not much traveled, but I always tell myself that even if I'm not traveled like some of my other friends, I travel through the social media. You see, today I'm able to connect with you, Elvis, because of technology like this. You see, we need to learn all these things, personal branding and all other things that are so important. You have to learn them. Those are 21st century skills that are very quintessential if you have to succeed. We focus our attention a lot on running after certificates. Yes, we focus attention. That's why in Cameroon, in any professional gathering or during a networking session, you'll see people, they're rather telling you about, I have degree in this, I have HND in that, I have masters in this, I am CEO of that, I am director, I am chairman. No, that's not what people want. People want to know what you are doing to make a difference in the lives of people. And if you want to know, for instance, how to do a personal branding elevator pitch that can trigger the attention of somebody to be able to fall in love with your idea or to fall in love with your personal brand, you need to learn those things consciously.
True.
You cannot afford to ignore them, because you cannot stand out if you cannot consciously push your agenda towards the direction that you want it to go. So it's very, very important. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis, for that intervention.
Thank you for blessing us, sir.
You're welcome. Please, Mr. Nyong Harrison, thank you also for the intervention. I wish to find out whether there's any other question, any other remark. And I'll always be available each time you need my attention, please. I think the next thing we'll be talking on this session is about personal branding, because I'm a personal branding expert. It's a must in the 21st century, personal branding.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Elvis Mimba. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and it's my privilege to share. Thank you so much, Mr. George, for that wonderful presentation on personal development. This presentation has come at a very timely moment in my life where I'm investing a lot in personal development as an individual and as a person in the civil society. Just today, I had an experience with old classmates graduated back from the university 2 years back, and they called me in the morning. Oh, we are coming, so you could help us develop our CVs. help us type some documents out. And it was funny how people, or my classmates and people that we have gone to school, we are graduates, and I'm looking at them and they cannot develop very simple CVs. They cannot use Microsoft. They cannot type very basic documents. They don't know what some very crucial things are. Someone is asking me the meaning of ITS. What is how do you go about registering for this, that? So I was very surprised, and I was beginning to wonder at this era and where we are and the way things are changing and the way technology is taking over every sector in the world, and Cameroon is not being left out. I mean, we are improving and we are increasing and we are moving with change. So I was just so surprised. So even as Mr. Faye Jr. shared with me the flyer for this meeting tonight, I went to the group chat where I am with most of my classmates, and I was, okay, this is an opportunity for us to, know how to improve on ourselves as individuals, and I shared the opportunity with them. I'm surprised most of them are online, but they're looking at it as maybe something just to waste their data. And this is bringing to me the fact that, yes, people are investing less or nothing at all in personal development. Thank you so much once. I just wanted to share this experience and say, yes, this was so necessary. This presentation was so necessary, and I'm grateful. And thank you again, Mr. George Neba. This is another wonderful opportunity to meet you on this platform. And I'm honored to meet you, Mr. Elvis Mimba, and I hope I will have other opportunities to tap from you. And thank you to the organizers. Thank you very much.
Okay, let me
You're
see
welcome, Constant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Mr. Joss is saying that I should steal some minutes before he concludes. So what I'm going to reiterate is that personal development is continuous. I will employ us to learn everything about the field we are in. We are doing medicine. Because most of you here are into the field of medicine. Learn everything about in your field and then look into other related fields. I studied medical microbiology and medical lab technology. I worked in the hospital and then I sold in the pharmacy. I actually learned pharmacy for 6 months, then worked in the pharmacy for like 2 years. And today I'm a teacher. So it's all about continuously improving yourself. The truth is that become the expert others look for advice. Like Mr. George was our expert today, and I did pick a lot from him, a lot. With the rate at which technologies are changing, if you decide that you are done with learning, you will be left behind. By continuous learning, you'll be able to keep on top of things, make better decisions. I remember he also said that you'll be able to really make informed and better decisions that are critical to your workplace, to your growth, to your advancement, if you are emotionally balanced. That is one of the things Mr. George reminded us, to keep on things, make better decisions, and remain relevant in this digital era. Try as well to diversify your set skill as you can to have extra source of income. If you are able to do graphic design, like he said, and you are a nurse, or you can be CV for people, you can analyze data for people. When they're writing their project, like that's what I did in the university. When my colleagues were unable to analyze the data because I had learned some basic computers, they brought it, I used my chi-square, analyzed data for them, and they paid me. These are things that we need we will need these things. So Mr. Neba, I employ that we will beg on you to come again and maybe break it down. That's the word to use. It's not certificate, like he said, it's certificate. What do you know and how can you show others to make their life better? Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Elvis Mimba. It's been a wonderful session. I didn't even foresee it this way. You see, the Americans say great oaks from little acorns grow. That is just to say that a big oak tree grows just from a tiny seed. So See, we have the discussions have been really engaging, so interesting, and it's amazing. It's like Miss Parine has a word. Please share your word, Miss Parine Kiki.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
The shy one has
I don't know
spoken
if
today.
you are getting me.
Yes, Miss
Yes.
Parine.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello. I'm getting you.
Hello.
Hello. I'm getting you.
Is anybody getting me?
Yes,
Yes.
Miss Parine, we can hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so I just want to say thank you for this wonderful lesson you gave to us this evening. I, for one, personally, I think I'm going to take this upon me as a challenge, especially when it comes to personal development. Something like this computer, I'm defending next year, and up to now, I don't actually know some basic things about computer, and that's why it's because I've always been procrastinating things, and I think I'm going to take this as a challenge and bring it to this platform next time as a testimony and learn how to do it. So especially us like students here, it's really very important to learn so many other things like the last month, since schools here now are not more going consistently, like we go every day, we go now but in shift. So we do things like, we go and learn some things. Like last month, we learned hairdressing, so that we can be able to even plait our colleagues' hair, so that they can even pay us and we'll be able to survive here in school. And many of us are not here. I really wish they could attend the program because of network issues. We really have bad networks, especially here in Bamili. I really thank you so much for the program. Thank everybody for the contribution. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss Parine Kiki. Thank you so much for your compliments. Thank you for words of encouragement. I also wish to encourage you, now that you've taken the commitment to foster your personal growth. It's very, very important, and I encourage you not to give up. Move along with people. Yes, move along with people who share common passions like you, so that they will also encourage you. So it's very, very important. So lots of courage and congratulations on your academic achievements. We're waiting to celebrate you when you finally graduate.
Thank you, sir.
I think we can now call it a day. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.